What's up, everybody? This is your boy Elijah Birch coming back at you yet with another video. So, if I was a boss, right, and I had an employee that wasn't taking care of business at their current position, but yet they had a terrible attitude. What I mean by that is they were lazy, they weren't producing well, and on top of that, they had so much arrogance that they just think they should be on top of the world. They should have my position. They should have a higher position, get more pay, benefits, the whole 9 yards, when their production is at an all-time low. But they want it just because they're there. Why would I give them a promotion? Why would I give them more? This, my friends, is the attitude that our society has. The attitude of entitlement. The spirit of pride, essentially. It's just the attitude of just being there is good enough. The attitude of just, I'm so great because of what I am, not who I am. What I am means that I should just get to have everything and not work a minute for it, or not do anything, or not sacrifice anything for it. I should just have it without no upkeep or maintenance. I should just have it. That's a lot of people have been indoctrinated into this way of thinking over centuries, because we're seeing the results of it now. I'm not going to go deep into it for centuries, but just think, you got all these people, all these job opportunities, but people are complaining about the opportunities. There's ways to make money even during the pandemic. There are ways that could be used as stepping stones to get back on their feet, but people are still not working. They're just not going to work. They're like, yep, I don't need that job, when they do. Or even if it's just for a short time, they still won't do it. Or there's people that think that they're always right and that their opinion is law. So whenever they hear someone that don't agree with them, especially on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, you name it, they'll try to get them canceled because their way, their thoughts is law, because they think that the world revolves around them and that they should get to put down somebody because they feel like it. Come on, that's why you get Karens. Oh, can I speak to your manager? Oh, you're not supposed to do that. When you have no jurisdiction within that field, those types of people take it upon themselves to have some type of authority in that situation because they just think they're right and they feel entitled to do so. And then it even goes into the dating aspect. There are people, men and women, like there are females that, you know, they don't have a good upkeep of themselves. They have multiple babies by multiple different men, but they want somebody that makes six figures and that is handsome and above 6 feet and all this other stuff. That's entitlement. That's where the late Kevin Samuels made his money on, and his exposure for a certain portion of his life. And then there's men that don't work out. They don't keep themselves nicely cut. They're overweight. They're lazy. They're still sleeping on their grandma's couch, but they want someone that looks like Halle Berry. And they think they deserve someone that they think that they deserve a Halle Berry. And they'll argue with that. And they don't know the upkeep to get with a woman like that. But they're trying to chase that dream because they feel entitled that they should have that. They can look at all these different pictures, look at all these different movies and think that they deserve women that they're exposed to in that nature. But they don't understand you got to put in work to get even in the vicinity of that social circle. But with all those examples, they have that entitlement spirit in common. They think that just them being who they are and not trying to get better and not trying to have no maintenance and having no level of responsibility for their actions and habits, or having no sense of humility and humbleness, they just think they should have the world gift wrapped to them, and then they have the sense or no sense to complain about their reality. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at people that are not willing to put the work in and not willing to do what they got to do, and not being humble enough to see where they're at and complain about the reality that they had inputted with. You know what I'm saying? You only get out what you put in. The hand of the diligent shall rule. That's Proverbs. It says in Luke, if you humble yourselves, you will be exalted, and those who don't humble, who that exalts themselves will be humbled. So that's a paraphrase, but it's just, you have to be humble to ascend. You have to be humble to get better. You can't think you're the stuff. You can't think that you just being you is enough. Being authentic is good. You need it. But to have an arrogance about it, that's the problem. And to think that everything should be just given to you without any work or any responsibility taken, that's the issue. You need to have true self-love and appreciation, but then you need to put the work behind it. That's what makes it, that's what gets you to where you need to be at. Not necessarily where you want, but where you need to be at, and then where you want to be at if that's really meant for you. Because it's okay to want things, but you can't be prideful. You can't be prideful, or you will never get there, because you'll never see where you need to go. Like, period. We see these in celebrities all the time. They get a little bit of success, a little bit of money. They start acting crazy, whether it's committing crimes, having domestic issues, and then boom, all of a sudden they're broke because they couldn't handle not only those blessings, but they had that prideful spirit, and it was ultimately their downfall. Take a look at Satan. At the beginning of time, Satan, he was the most beautiful thing in heaven, and he thought he should be on the throne of God instead of God, because he was just him, and he just thought he was so good, he should be God. But he was casted down to hell. And his sin was pride. And look where he ended up. He's the ultimate example of that. So we can't think that we're all that in a bag of chips, as my mom would say. We have to be humble, and we have to realize that as people, we all have flaws. We all have good things. And ultimately, we're all significant to an extent. Like, nobody's more important than someone else. Period. And yes, everybody deserves good things, I personally believe, and that's why they're here. But we have our own journey to go to acquire those beautiful, deserved things. We have to make a sacrifice for it. Whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter if you're male, female, black, white, you got to sacrifice. You got to work. You have to work, because we're all human. And our path is determined by the sweat of our brow. It says in Genesis, you know, it's in our hands to an extent, and God will take care of the rest. But God has to know that if we're humble enough to treat our small position or our current circumstance right, and to appreciate the little things, he'll give us bigger things when we're ready. And you see it all throughout the Bible of how it didn't work for people because they wouldn't buy in, and how it did work for people. Like in Exodus, when the Israelites were going through the desert, they were complaining so much that they missed slavery. They missed slavery. And then when they were being fed, when they were getting water every day, the little necessities, right? They were still complaining. And that they were so stubborn and so prideful in how they wanted to do things. They believed that all things right. They made a golden calf, and then, they got some justice put on them. And on the other end, Joseph, he was, despite being in slavery, being betrayed, despite being put wrongfully in prison, he managed everything well and was still humble and gave everything to God every step of the way. And then in just one day, boom, he helped out Pharaoh, deciphered his dreams, and he was, bestowed as the second in command of all of ancient Egypt, which is crazy. So it works both ways. You could be humble and be exalted, or you could exalt yourself and then be humble. There's plenty of kings, like I said, plenty of celebrities, plenty of powerful people that struggle because of their ego and their pride, because they have this entitled spirit that we see left and right in our society. So we got to be humble, y'all. We got to know that we're all basically from the dirt. We're all people. We all get sick. We all die. We all cry, bleed, everything. So no one is better than the other. Everybody's just different. And we have to acknowledge our differences in every way, shape, or form. And we have to respect that and cherish that. And, that's a part of loving thy neighbor as thyself. We love our neat, our neat gifts and quirks and everything else. We got to love everybody else's too. We're all made of different molds. But that doesn't mean we're not gold. So we got to be humble, cherish each other, and stop being entitled. Don't be a Karen. Just start caring, and you won't fall. All right, y'all. Peace.